CSA 101 for Administrators, a video about the California Spanish Assessment, brought to you by the California Department of Education.
My name is Carla Nájera Kunzmiller, and I work for the Sacramento County Office of Education. Welcome to the CSA 101 for Test Administrators video. This video consists of various elements of the California Spanish Assessment, or CSA, administration. Let's start with how the CSA is organized. The CSA assesses Spanish language arts in 4 domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The CSA is a computer-based test, and students enter all responses in the test delivery system. All items are aligned with the California Common Core State Standards in Español. The CSA, including speaking, is administered in a group setting. However, that does not preclude LEAs from administering it in smaller groups. Now let's talk about how the test is configured. The CSA consists of 3 segments. The first segment consists of a student survey comprised of 3 student-specific demographic questions. The test administrator should guide students through this survey as accuracy is important. For grades 3 through 8, the second segment consists of listening, reading, and writing questions. Then there is a segment break. This is followed by the third segment, which consists of more reading and writing questions, including 1 constructed response question. High school is set up a bit differently. For high school, the second segment consists of listening and speaking questions, followed by a segment break. The third segment consists of reading and writing questions, including 1 constructed response question. For all grades 3 through high school, there is an instructional page in segment 3 just before the final passage set. This page instructs students to raise their hands and receive guidance from their test administrator on whether there is enough time left in their test session to continue with the test, or if they should pause and wait until the next test session. The constructed response question at the end of the test must be completed in 1 sitting. If the student enters anything into the text field and then pauses the test longer than 20 minutes, then any text entered is saved and considered a response, and they cannot return to it again. The writing constructed response question at all grade levels and the high school grade band will be scored by the contractor, ETS. Now let's turn our attention to the high school speaking domain and the 2 types of speaking constructed response questions. One type of speaking question is dependent on a listening passage. Students will read the question and then listen to a passage. Students can listen to the passage as many times as needed. Test administrators should provide all students with scratch paper prior to starting testing and collect all scratch paper at the end of the testing session. Students are also encouraged to take notes to assist them when they record their responses. We recommend students take notes while listening to the passage. Once ready, students may use their notes to record their responses in the test delivery system, or TDS. The second type of speaking question is a standalone. These questions are not dependent on a listening passage. Students will read the question and record their responses. They may also take notes for standalone questions. For both types of speaking questions, students can listen to their recording and re-record their response until they're satisfied and feel ready to move on to the next question. Students should wear headphones during the speaking and listening segment of the test. Although the computer's microphone can record student responses, wearing headsets with microphones is highly recommended to ensure that students' responses are captured without background noise. We also recommend using dividers to provide students with a sense of privacy when recording their responses. Since it's unusual for students to speak aloud in a testing environment, using dividers or spacing students out can help them feel less self-conscious when recording their responses. As a test administrator, you need at minimum these two documents to administer the test: Preparing for Administration, or PFA, and the CSA Administering an Online Test Session. The PFA contains non-secure information and instructions for preparing to administer the CSA. Review this document prior to testing. The PFA contains information for before, during, and after testing. There is also information about such things as pause rules, equipment recommendations, and more. Day of administration instructions are located in the CSA Administering an Online Test Session document, also referred to as the CSA script. This non-secure document contains essential information, and the CSA cannot be administered without it. You will read the directions aloud from this document, then students will navigate through the test independently. This document can be printed or used digitally during test administration. Some test administrators prefer to have a paper copy so they can highlight and mark up the instructions. It also makes it easier for them to walk around the classroom to provide assistance if needed. Others prefer to read from a digital copy on their device. Both options are acceptable and should be left up to the test administrator. Both documents are located on the CAASPP and ELPAC website on the Administer a Test Session webpage. Note that this document is named CSA Script on the website. When you click on CSA Script, it will take you directly to the CSA Administering an Online Test Session document. Additionally, the student tips on taking the CSA speaking test video is available on the Moodle training site, or Moodle, for it to be shown or made available to students prior to the administration of the CSA. This video includes a student who provides students with tips on how to successfully take the CSA speaking test. Thanks for watching.